Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another Theme Park Obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back in. Today, as you can see, I'm back in the office because I wanted to give you my top 10 most anticipated 2024 roller coasters. There's so much happening in the theme park industry and roller coasters are popping up everywhere around the world. So I wanted to go over my most anticipated top 10. So how about you and I dive right in. Now, before we get started, if you're new to the channel and you love theme park content, especially vlogs from some of your favorite theme parks, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week that you won't want to miss out on, especially in the new year. Oh yeah, there's going to be a bunch of new content. But with that out of the way, let's go into the top 10, starting off with number 10, and that is Phoenix Rising at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This is a B&M family invert roller coaster featuring onboard audio, which is very unique, especially to Busch Gardens, Tampa. And what's great about this being a family roller coaster is a broader audience will be able to enjoy this. The ride won't feature any inversions, but it does reach a top speed of 44 miles an hour, so there is some pretty good thrill there. And as far as the coaster's length, it's a little over 1,800 feet of track, so overall a pretty solid family coaster and a great addition to Busch Gardens, Tampa. I'm really looking forward to experiencing that when it opens up in 2024. Now we're staying in the state of Florida for the next coaster because at number 9 we have Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando. This is another roller coaster manufactured by B&M, but this time it's a steel sit-down coaster featuring multiple launches and a track length of over 3,000 feet. Now, the one thing that's pretty unique about this roller coaster is the theming. They're actually spending a lot of money on immersive theming on the ride, and the first half of the ride is actually going to be indoors, and then you take that first launch outside to the rest of the course. And again, with this being a family roller coaster, more people will be able to enjoy it when they visit the park. And I'm really looking forward to the layout of this coaster. I think they're using a pretty big space, and the fact that it's multi-launch, and in the video it looks to have some pretty good forceful elements to it for a family roller coaster. I think overall it's going to be a pretty solid addition to SeaWorld Orlando. Next up, we're heading to Dorney Park for number 8, and that's Iron Menace. Iron Menace is a B&M dive coaster, and I've featured B&M dive coasters on the channel before. We've done SheiKra over at Busch Gardens, Tampa. We've done Valravn over at Cedar Point. SeaWorld San Diego has Emperor, and I believe that's all the dive coasters I've been on. I don't think I've been on any other ones. Hang Time, if you want to be a little controversial there, I still think Hang Time is one of those like halvesies dive coasters. A true dive coaster, you know, when I think of a true dive coaster, I think of B&M dive coasters. And yeah, Dorney Park is installing one right now. They're building it pretty quick too. Iron Menace will top out at 160 feet and feature over 2,100 feet of track, which is a pretty good length. The first drop on this thing is going to be 152 feet, and it will feature a beyond vertical first drop. So that's going to be really fun. Now, Iron Menace will be traveling up to speeds of 64 miles an hour, which is great. And it will feature a world's first on a dive coaster, and that will be a tilted loop element. Now, if you don't know what a tilted loop is, if you've been to Six Flags Magic Mountain and ridden Riddler's Revenge has a tilted loop in the middle of its course. And with it being the first roller coaster to open at the park in over 10 years, this is going to be really good for Dorney Park, and I think it's going to draw a gate pretty well for this summer. Let's head to the east for number 7, and that is Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, I'm really excited about this roller coaster for 2 reasons. One being that it's made by Vekoma. Vekoma makes some really good roller coasters. And 2, it's a super boomerang, and it's the first of its kind in North America. There's only one other coaster of its kind in the world, and that's in China. All these new age Vekoma coasters are incredible, and I'm so happy that Six Flags decided to purchase one from the catalog, and it being a super boomerang, it's gonna be really unique. Now, the layout is over 1,400 feet of track, has 3 inversions, it has a vertical spike, and remember, we're gonna be going through this thing forwards and backwards, so you double the amount of inversions. So we'll be going upside down 6 times, and the amount of launches is going to be great because this is a multi-launch experience. Now, the one thing that I'm a little worried about with this roller coaster is its capacity, its theoretical hourly capacity. It might be pretty low. Usually these boomerang coasters don't have the best capacity, and it doesn't look like this one has a turntable built into the layout. So that might bring some very long lines. It's okay, it is what it is. But if you once this thing opens, I feel like it's going to be one of those rides that you have to hit first in the park. I think this was a good buy for Six Flags. I think it's going to really benefit that park in an already stellar lineup of coasters they got there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to riding that in 2024. For the next coaster, let's head to Ohio and make our way to Cedar Point. for number 6, and that is Top Thrill 2. Now, Top Thrill 2 is a Zamperla Intamin creation. It's a little bit of a hybrid, and I say that because Intamin's track pieces are still there, like the top hat is all Intamin, and going down into the brake run is all Intamin. Zamperla is the one that supplied the track and supports for the spike and then the launch sequence. And I'm really looking forward to this because, one, I never got to experience Top Thrill Dragster. The last time I was at Cedar Point, they were testing it, and I was like, oh man, are we gonna be able to ride it? And unfortunately, we weren't able to ride it, so I was a little bummed out there. But now with Top Thrill 2, I'll be able to experience, finally, Top Thrill Dragster, but in a new form because it now has this amazing vertical spike, and it's massive. It's the tallest spike in the world at over 400 feet. This is a multi-launch experience, so you'll launch forward, then backwards up the spike, and then one final launch up and over the top hat, reaching speeds of up to 120 miles an hour. And the part that's gonna be really crazy is going backwards up that spike, that 420 foot tall spike. And you're gonna be going like 100 miles an hour up that spike. So it's not like you're gonna be going the slow roll up that thing. No, you're gonna be soaring to nearly the tippity top of that structure. Top Thrill Dragster was already a very popular ride, and the fact that they've enhanced the experience, they've made it better, and it has new trains. Zamperla supplied the trains, and they look really darn cool. It's gonna really draw a gate to Cedar Point this summer. It's a really good investment. I'm so happy they were able to get the attraction back up and running, working really closely with Zamperla. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this immensely because, yeah, I never got to experience Top Thrill Dragster, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. Work was done really fast on this roller coaster, and I think that's just due in part because they didn't really have to do a lot. Obviously, the spike is a very big monumental task, but it's a lot better than having to build an entire circuit. So I think just them building that one section and redoing the launch track, it meant for really quick construction. And they're already testing the ride. So by the time Cedar Point opens, I believe in May, the ride should be ready to go. Now for number 5, I put this particular roller coaster on the list because it is kind of, it is something new. They've retracked this roller coaster, and people were very excited for it, including myself, because I've never ridden it, so I'm really stoked to hopefully get out to this destination to ride it. But because it's a reimagining similar to Top Thrill 2, I figure why not put it on a list? And it's at Alton Towers, and I'm talking about Nemesis. Nemesis is touted as being one of the best inverted roller coasters in the world, and I cannot wait to experience it. And Nemesis has received a full retracking. It's got a new color scheme. They've been retheming bits of the queue and the station and the surrounding area. Nemesis is going to look even better. And it was already a really cool looking roller coaster because of its terrain. It's a terrain B&M invert roller coaster. And now they've rethemed this entire area, and yeah, the track is looking great. I think Nemesis is going to be really, really good. Nemesis will feature 4 inversions, and again, this is all through the terrain. If you've never seen this before, check it out. Watch an old POV of it. It's incredible. But it'll feature 4 inversions. It travels up to speeds of 50 miles an hour, and you experience over 3.5 Gs on this invert coaster. I'm really happy that Alton Towers invested the money to refurb this attraction and give it new life, because I was overhearing from other coaster enthusiasts that, even though Nemesis is incredible, it does have its moments. So the fact that the company went in and just, took out all the old track and brought in some new stuff, which will mean for a smoother experience, is a really good thing. So really looking forward to Nemesis. And it's not just me, it's so many other coaster enthusiasts. I think Alton Towers is another one of those places to be in 2024. Now for number 4, we're heading back to the United States, to Branson, Missouri, because next year they're opening up an all-new reimagined Fire in the Hole. I'm so glad I was able to experience the original Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City. I was able to ride that with a few of my other coaster buddies a couple years ago when we made the trip out there, and I loved it. It was so cool, so old school, but because of its age, it needed to be refurbed, and unfortunately they had to take the coaster down, and this new experience will be in a different area of the park. And RMC is actually the manufacturer of this indoor roller coaster, which is very exciting. So that means it'll be a smooth experience. and there might be a few extra little surprises. In addition to the coaster being in a different location in the park and in an all-new building, the park has invested a lot of money in the theming. So when this new RMC creation is complete, I think it's going to be a really beautiful attraction and a really nice complement to the area that it's going to be in. The track length on this thing is over 1/3 of a mile long. It's going to feature drops, and of course that famous water splashdown is coming back, which I'm really looking forward to, because in the original Fire in the Hole, when I went on that, I was so like thrown off and surprised with the drops in the ride. I mean, it was incredible. It was so much fun. And then that last finale drop into the water was just next level. So I'm super happy that they're bringing that back. And again, I'm really happy that RMC is doing this. RMC already makes amazing products. I mean, they make some of the best thrill coasters in the world. And the fact that they're now dipping their toe into more of the family market is wonderful. They announced their, it was like their Moose roller coaster, their compact family roller coaster. So I'm sure parks in the future will buy one of those models. And yeah, now with this, the Fire in the Hole, the all new Fire in the Hole, they're working really closely with Silver Dollar City on this. So yeah, I'm really happy that RMC is not just all about the major, insane, like super tall, super fast airtime machine coasters. They're also into doing some family stuff as well. Oh man, now we're down to the top 3. Now at number 3, we're jumping back on the plane and heading overseas to Germany, because Europa Park will be opening up a brand new roller coaster, and it looks absolutely incredible. And that roller coaster is Voltron. Voltron is manufactured by Mach Rides. It's a steel sit-down roller coaster. The ride will reach speeds of up to 55 miles an hour, have 7 inversions. Yeah, it's already amazing. And have a track length of over 4,500 feet. This thing looks outstanding. And Europa Park, again, has some amazing roller coasters, and this one, oh my goodness, I think it's going to be one of the best roller coasters in the park. I mean, just the amount of elements that it has and different things that it does, it's insane. It's got a turntable element, it's got LSM launches, it's got an implement, it's got corkscrews, it's got a top hat, it has a dark show scene like element to it. It's like non-stop. It's really jam-packed, and when you look at this layout from like a bird's eye view, I mean, it's pretty expansive. And the theming that they're doing on this is really beautiful as well. Europa Park does a really good job of theming their areas, and yeah, this one is definitely, they spared no expense on this roller coaster. And Mach is pretty expensive. The Mach makes some pricey rides, but they are beautiful rides, and I'm so happy that Europa Park is adding another one to their lineup. This is definitely a contender for a top 10, maybe even a top 5 roller coaster in the world. This is going to be something else, and I think a huge draw to Europa Park. People are going to be rushing to this one when it opens up. It might be one of the most popular rides in the park. Really looking forward to hopefully getting out to Europa Park to experience Voltron in 2024. Now, at number 2, we're jumping back on the plane because we're heading over to Universal Studios Japan. This roller coaster looks so much fun. It's now testing. It's almost complete. It's going to be opening up in 2024, and that roller coaster is Donkey Kong. Now, I'm not too sure on the manufacturer for Donkey Kong. That's kind of like state a secret, so go ahead and help me down below in the comments if you do know the manufacturer. Yeah, I'd be curious to see who actually made this roller coaster, because I'm not familiar with it. It's definitely one of those like secret Universal creations. This roller coaster is very unique because it looks like you're going to be jumping over pieces of track just like you do in the video game. So there's like this massive piece of steel that connects to the lower piece of the track to your ride vehicle that is on top of a false piece of track. And as you traverse the course, yeah, I mean, you're jumping over obstacles and all this crazy stuff. And it looks so realistic that I think the sensation of this is going to be like unlike anything else that we've ever experienced before. So I think this is going to be a smash hit for Universal Studios Japan and Epic Universe, because they are building it at Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida. But this ride looks stellar, and there's a bunch of indoor show scenes as well. The theming of this thing is top tier. There are a lot of secrets to this attraction, so we don't really know too much, which is pretty exciting, because when we ride this for the very first time, either in Japan or in Orlando, it's just going to be new. You know, no one's really going to know too much about it because we can't really see much. It does look like it kind of has a launched lift hill, nothing crazy, but very similar to, you know, Maverick at Cedar Point. I don't think there's any other launch segments in the attraction. A lot of the interior show scenes are still a mystery, but we do know the ride has a few drops, and again, those sections that look like you're jumping over pieces of the minecart track. So it's going to be such an insane experience and a really good addition to Super Nintendo World. It just continues that story. Super Nintendo World is so well done. The theming is top tier. Again, we don't expect anything less from Universal Studios at this point. So the Donkey Kong transition is going to be very nice, and then just seeing all that kineticism with the minecart and jumping over the different obstacles is going to be something really special. Alrighty, last but not least, I've been waiting for this moment. We've gotten to the #1 spot, my #1 most anticipated roller coaster of 2024, and that's going to be at Thorpe Park. And I'm talking about Hyperia. Manufactured by Mach Ride, this will be the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. This coaster is over 230 feet tall, and it will feature speeds of up to 80 miles an hour. And just to give you perspective of how tall this is, if you've been to Six Flags Magic Mountain, this roller coaster is about 20 feet shy of the height of Goliath. And some of you might be thinking, well, Dylan, you know, it's tall and it's fast, but why is it making your #1 spot? Well, it's because of the elements on this thing. It's not really spread out. It's more on the compact side. I mean, it's still a pretty big roller coaster, don't get me wrong, but the footprint of it is not as big as you think. And the elements on this thing are bonkers. They're absolutely bonkers. And I'll show you one in particular. I mean, I'll show you a few if I could find a bunch of pictures, but there's one element in particular, and it's like this overbank turn, and it just looks insane. Like the amount of airtime coming off of that element is going to be mind-boggling. This thing is going to be epic, and Thorpe Park is going to be one of those destinations that I feel like everyone in the UK and around the world are going to go to experience this, because Mach and Thorpe Park really worked together to create something that looks absolutely beautiful. This coaster has been rumored for a very, very long time, and the fact that we're finally seeing it is super exciting. It looks to have a vertical drop, tons of airtime moments, and again, elements that we've never felt before on a roller coaster. This will be the first time that we'll be experiencing some of these elements, and I cannot be more excited. I am super stoked for this. Hyperia also has like a water splashdown, it's looking like near the end, and then the color scheme on this is pretty interesting with the white and like this goldish, copperish color. Overall, Hyperia is gonna be top tier, and I think a lot of people's new #1 roller coaster. It might be my new #1. I don't know. I still gotta experience it to make that decision. And I'm hoping that we can make it out to Europe again in 2024, not just to see Disneyland Paris again, because that's what we went out to see this year, but yeah, I want to see Thorpe Park and Alton Towers and all these different places, so fingers crossed that it works out. But there you have it. There's my top 10 list, my most anticipated roller coasters of 2024. There are a few other mentions in there. There's so many rides being built around the world, but I just wanted to narrow it down to a few. But that will do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love theme park content, consider subscribing, because I have brand new videos every single week. Be sure to check out my Instagram account by following the link down below in the description. And yeah, what are your top 10 most anticipated coasters? Go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to know. And yeah, we can go back and forth about which one you're most excited for. But until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. And I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.